Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I was in my late 20s when I first met Silas, a retired maritime engineer living in a grand, albeit aging, home overlooking the harbor in Port Blossom. I had recently returned home after years abroad working in humanitarian aid, where I'd gained extensive experience in long-term care management. Silas was a distant family friend, known for his sharp wit and love of storytelling. But when I met him, he was grappling with the early stages of a progressive neurological condition, slowly but relentlessly eroding his independence. His two sons, David and Evan, lived comfortable lives inland. They rarely visited, and when they did, it was usually a perfunctory stop during holidays, filled with thinly veiled impatience. Their own children, Calvin and Liam, followed suit, barely acknowledging Silas's existence. The only other person who genuinely cared was Finn, Silas's grandson, David's son, who lived locally and visited often. But even Finn, with his own busy career, couldn't provide the round-the-clock, specialized care Silas was beginning to need. I, having no immediate career path and a deep respect for Silas, offered to help. What started as a few hours a week quickly evolved into becoming his primary caregiver. For 3 years, I dedicated myself to him. I managed his complex medication regimen, administered physical therapy, prepared specialized meals, and ensured his comfort and dignity. More than that, I became his confidant, his chess partner, and his audience for countless tales of the sea. I saw the quiet pain in his eyes when David and Evan would call only to check on his financial affairs, or when they'd skip holidays entirely. Silas was sharp, far sharper than his sons gave him credit for. He noticed everything. One afternoon, he asked me about my old work, about documenting care hours and patient progress. I explained the meticulous records I used to keep. He just nodded, a knowing glint in his eye. Unbeknownst to me, he then contacted his attorney, Eleanor Vance, a formidable woman who understood Silas's desire for a truly just legacy. Together, they devised a system. Instead of a simple division, his substantial estate would be distributed based on a detailed contribution points system, rewarding quantifiable time spent on specific care activities, genuine companionship, and critical support during his last 5 years. He also added a crucial, unannounced clause. Any beneficiary who challenged the will in court would forfeit their entire share. Silas passed away peacefully in his sleep, holding my hand. His funeral was a quiet affair, attended by a small circle of friends and notably Finn, his brother Ben, and me. David and Evan made brief, uncomfortable appearances, clearly more concerned with the upcoming will reading. 2 days later, we gathered at Eleanor's office. David and Evan were there with Calvin and Liam, radiating an almost palpable air of entitlement. David scoffed at my presence, muttering about gold-digging caretakers. Evan smirked, already discussing a new speedboat he'd eyed. Finn, meanwhile, offered me a reassuring squeeze of the arm. Eleanor began, her voice calm and clear. She read Silas's personal preamble, a poignant letter emphasizing his desire to reward true care, connection, and sacrifice, not just bloodline. Then came the scores. She began with David, a paltry 25 points for sporadic calls and superficial visits. Evan, 32 points, equally negligible. Calvin and Liam, 0 points each, a stark silence filling the room. Ben, Finn's brother, received a respectable 350 for occasional help and visits. Then came Finn, a staggering 8,200 points for his consistent support, frequent visits, and assistance coordinating care. Finally, she read my total, 14,500 points. The room erupted. David and Evan, faces contorted in rage, screamed about fraud and manipulation. "This is outrageous." "He was senile. You tricked him, you little thief," David shrieked, pointing at me. Eleanor calmly explained the meticulous records, the notarized logbooks, the witness statements, and the fact that Silas had been of sound mind, even dictating the will's structure. She concluded by stating the estate would be liquidated and the proceeds divided proportional to these points. David and Evan, along with Calvin and Liam, immediately filed a lawsuit, contesting the will on every imaginable ground. They were so confident, so utterly convinced of their birthright, that they'd already taken out massive lines of credit against their expected inheritance, buying luxury cars and planning lavish trips. Eleanor, however, was prepared. She presented Silas's meticulously kept logbooks, my daily care records, and the secret clause disinheriting anyone who challenged the will. The legal battle dragged on for almost 4 agonizing years. David and Evan spent a fortune on legal fees, only to repeatedly lose. With their anticipated inheritance gone and their debts mounting, their businesses crumbled. David lost his chain of automotive repair shops, and Evan's real estate firm declared bankruptcy. Both men were financially ruined, their families fractured. Calvin and Liam, who had enthusiastically joined the lawsuit, found themselves pariahs, disowned by their own parents in a desperate attempt to salvage what little they had. Finn received a life-changing sum, enough to comfortably retire early and pursue his passions. As for me, the inheritance was substantial, more money than I had ever dreamed of. It provided me with financial security for life, allowing me to establish a foundation in Silas's name, dedicated to supporting elder care initiatives. The satisfaction was immense, a quiet, deep sense of vindication. Silas had the last word, and his final act truly ensured justice. Silas's final message was clear. Loyalty and love are more valuable than blood. They learned that the hard way.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.